This is the worst superstar. I can make a case this is the worst superstar in the history of sports. He is a nightmare.
Where do I even begin? Stephen A's negative discourse towards Kawhi Leonard isn't something that just appeared out of thin air. He's had poor things to say about him for some time now, and he's also thrown some quiet shade on him as the years have gone by. I remember making a video about a year ago in regards to his take saying if you swapped players DeMar for Kawhi 1-for-1, that the 2019 Toronto Raptors would have been champions. He says the outcome would have been exactly the same, completely undermining everything Kawhi did for that team. This is the same guy who once asked if Joel Embiid was the greatest big man of all time, the same man who told Kyrie Irving to retire, then took it back just 2 years later, and now the same man who's saying Kawhi Leonard is possibly the worst superstar in all of sports. Stephen A has been known to make takes like this for grabs, for clicks, but something this ridiculous needs to be covered. We're going to look back at some of the players Stephen A has dubbed superstars and compare their careers side by side to the age that they are when the take happened. Obviously, some of these guys have a few less miles on the body than Kawhi, as he is 32 years old. But before we do, guys, please be sure to consider hitting that subscribe button. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers, and we do upload NBA content pretty much daily. Anywho, on October 19th, 2022, around a year and a half ago, Stephen A. Smith dubbed Luka Doncic to be a superstar.
On 45% shooting, 35% from three-point range, he is a superstar in this league. He is something special.
On September 2nd, 2022, nearly 4 years ago, he dubbed Jason Tatum to be an emerging superstar.
Now Boston is rolling. I think Jason Tatum is an emerging superstar.
And just this last year, he dubbed Anthony Edwards to be a superstar. Is he wrong about any of these three takes? No, not at all. We're not going to discuss Anthony Edwards in this video. I just think it's funny that he would dub a 22-year-old a superstar, as Anthony has not even scratched the surface of what being a superstar is. But for Luka Doncic, his resume is remarkably decorated, and Jason Tatum's is very impressive as well. At just 25 years old, Luka has a Turkish Airlines EuroLeague MVP with Real Madrid. In 2017, he won that. In 2018, he was the Rookie of the Year of the NBA. He was selected to 5 first-team All-NBAs in a row. He was the scoring champion this last season. He made the NBA Finals once, he made the Eastern Conference Finals twice, and pretty sure he could add a ring and/or Finals MVP to his hard work collection. Obviously, Game 2 is tonight. We're going to have to see how this continues to persist. And his statistics have been phenomenal as well. On his career, he's averaging 29, 9, and 8, and he has a ton of clutch moments, which is something you cannot buy with a superstar. It's something that if you're a superstar, that's something you have to do. You have to hit those big time shots, and Luka's career has been full of them in the regular season and the postseason. He actually had one of the craziest game winners of his NBA career in the bubble against Kawhi Leonard, which is funny because obviously this whole video is about him. Anywho, Jason Tatum at 26 years old, just a year older than Luka Doncic, has made the playoffs all 7 years of his NBA career. He's made the Eastern Conference Finals 5 times. He's made the NBA Finals twice. He has 4 All-NBA selections, 3 of which are first team, an All-Star Game MVP, and again, the possibility of an NBA champion and/or Finals MVP is knocking on his resume's door. But let's take a look at a 25-year-old Kawhi Leonard's resume. Now, it's important to note that Kawhi was drafted when he was 20 years old, so we are only looking at 5 seasons compared to Jason's 7, compared to Luka's 6. In 5 years, he was a 3-time first-team All-Defensive member with 1 second-team selection. He was a Defensive Player of the Year in 2013 with a Steals Trophy to top that off. He was a 2-time member of the first-team All-NBA with 1 time as a second-team All-NBA member. He was an NBA champion and is the second youngest Finals MVP in all of the NBA. Magic Johnson is the only person who's younger than him, and it's by less than a year, might I add. If we extended this 2 more years to kind of mirror Jason's career, because like I said, Jason has 7, and we're talking about 5 years for Kawhi Leonard. On Kawhi's 27th birthday, in those years, he won 2 more Defensive Player of the Years, and then he won that NBA championship and a Finals MVP with Toronto. His counting stats during these years, the early years of his career, were not as impressive. He was not handed the full keys to the offense until after 2015, but he was a very pivotal part of the success of the San Antonio Spurs in those years on defense, on the glass, just taking the grunt work every single night as Tim and Manu and Tony were kind of, verging away from the offense, kind of handing the keys. Something like a master Uguay, if you will. However, in Toronto and Los Angeles, his numbers immediately shot up and his efficiency stayed the same. If not, it got better, which is something I really admire about Kawhi Leonard's game. Is a whole. We often talk about him as a robot, just being so efficient, so programmed to make the right move. So here's the reality check. If Kawhi Leonard has a phenomenal resume and his stats are continuing to improve, why is Stephen A making an outlandish claim like this? Well, the truth to be told is he is a superstar. He's a Swiss Army knife on the basketball court. He has such a unique set of skills that a two-time Finals MVP with 3 Defensive Player of the Years is an underwhelming resume. He is that good that his resume is this great and people are still going to say that he's failing. If you were one of the lucky people like myself, like hopefully Stephen A, I'm not sure if he even watches basketball or not, and you were able to gaze or watch 2019 Kawhi Leonard and his remarkable championship run, you'd realize that this man was unstoppable. The gentleman sweep against the Magic after dropping game 1 at home, he destroyed the process in 7 games, hitting arguably the greatest shot in playoff history. Then he went down 2 games to the Milwaukee Bucks. I feel like people forget that and don't talk about it enough. He dropped 2 games against the Bucks, and then they won 4 in a row against the defending 2-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. Then they go and they make the finals. The super team, the God Squad, the death lineup: Boogie Cousins, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Andre Iguodala, Andrew Bogut, Sean Livingston. They beat them in 6 games. And Kawhi averaged 30 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. People like to get bogged down on the fact that Kevin missed 4 games and that Klay missed a game. But guys, Boogie, Klay, Steph, Dre, Iggy, Sean, Andrew Bogut, they have won championships before with worse teams. This team was good enough to hang and bang with anyone, and I don't want to hear the excuses. The point I'm trying to make is Kawhi Leonard was feared. He was making grown men cry and think that the world was ending. And since those days of 2019, we've seen no grown men cry except for Clippers fans. Kawhi averages around 40 to 50 games per season. This last year, he played 68 games, which I love to tip my hat to, but he tore his meniscus in the postseason. That's 3 years now in a row. He tore his ACL against Utah, he tore his meniscus against the Suns, and then he tore his meniscus against the Mavericks. So yes, I understand the bits of resentment coming from this take. I do understand this is a take that is out of anger and frustration, but there is no world where a 2-time Finals MVP is the worst superstar in any sport, let alone basketball. What do you guys think? What do you make of this take? Is Stephen A fraud? Is Stephen A just crazy? Does Stephen A need to be studied? Let me know in the comments below what you think about Kawhi Leonard. If you made it this far, I appreciate your support as always. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay happy, healthy, and blessed. Peace. Also, just a quick update for anyone who cares. I put this at the end because I don't want to waste the time of the video with this. My right hand is healed mostly. I had 2nd-degree burns on it last Saturday. This occurred. I was in a, gauze wrapped up on my hand, whatever you want to say, for 5 days now. The gauze since then has been taken off. My hand's still pretty stiff, but I am able to edit. So the long form videos will be back. Thank you guys for your support on the channel recently. I love all of you. Peace.